Hi guys, my name's Ed, and when I'm not getting punched in the face, I help UK businesses with their marketing. So recently, I got invited to do a guest talk for a marketing mastermind group. I was asked to present what, in my opinion, was one of the best marketing campaigns ever ran, and what we can learn from it in our day-to-day activities. I thought, since I'd already done the presentation on the talk, that I'd make a quick video on it so you guys can see it as well. I'm sure we can all come up with a list of what we consider an elite group of marketing campaigns that truly push the marketing field forward. Apple's 1984 commercial, the Share a Coke campaign, Nike's Just Do It, and dare I say it, Fire Festival are all some of the most successful campaigns of all time. But there is one lesser talked about campaign that I seriously believe belongs among this elite list. And this campaign is a Dunkin Donuts Sensory Campaign in Seoul, the capital of South Korea. Dunkin had originally tried to enter the market, continuing their strategy of focusing on their donut product. However, they quickly encountered the problem that the demand for donuts and sweet Western products wasn't very high. The Dunkin Donuts leadership saw two very different strategies they could go down. Launch a campaign that tried to generate a demand for donuts, or pivot to a new product focus. Now, for those who don't know, the city of Seoul is considered the city of coffee. In 2019, it was reported that the city itself had 15,000 individual coffee shops. And in South Korea, the population drinks over 100 million cups of coffee on an average day. With the majority of people living in the city being office workers, there's a large perception that office workers must drink coffee. It's almost like a status symbol or a driven desire. If any of you know anyone from South Korea, or anyone who spent a significant amount of time there, they'll be happy to tell you for hours how coffee drinking is all a lifestyle. It's not just something you buy, you live the coffee. You have certain blends you like, you have it certain ways, it has to be made this right way, or you have a shop that you can only go to. So the management of Dunkin seeing this thought, great, we already sell coffee, let's focus more on it so we don't have to do a full pivot. But like all pivots or half pivots, this brought a fresh set of problems for Dunkin Donuts. First of all, there was already a number of brands active in the city and many smaller cafes present dotted around. This was definitely a saturated and highly competitive market. And the second key problem was Dunkin was known for donuts. When you say Dunkin, there is one product that comes to mind, and it's not coffee. So not only did the marketing team have to infiltrate an already saturated competitive market, they needed to shift the perception of the Dunkin brand. So of course, like any competent marketing team, they looked into the ideal audience based on lifetime customer value and how they could reach these customers and where they trade to these customers. So like I alluded to earlier, a significant portion of Seoul's population are office workers. The majority of this population commuted to their work using public transport, and these commuters make up a massive proportion of the coffee market, particularly during their morning commutes. Now, a further problem they encountered, this target market was marketing blind to the extreme. Like most cities, these commuters were inundated with hundreds of adverts on their commutes in the morning, from billboards to posters and of course digital ads on their phone as they did the infamous commute doom scroll on social media. Now, before I go into the real unique part of this campaign, the team behind Dunkin in Seoul really set themselves up for success with the appreciation and understanding of their target market. It's probably one of the best campaigns to demonstrate how powerful truly understanding the current state of your market and your target audience is to success of campaigns. The first thing Dunkin did was analyse the busiest public transport routes and stations. They then placed stores as close to these stations as possible, which gave them a direct route to market to the busiest footfalls in the city for their target market. For stations that they didn't have Dunkin directly in the vicinity, they placed clear advertisements directing people to the closest store. So it would be like good coffee 1 mile away, or 10-minute walk that way, Dunkin Donuts. Now, this is where the magic of the campaign really comes to life. So like I said before, the commuters were saturated with advertisements. Visual wise, they were completely numb to 99.9% of advertisements shown to them during their commute. So using clever psychology, Dunkin figured out a way to trigger a response to their marketing without the use of visual advertising. On the buses that ran through the stations with stores in the vicinity, Dunkin booked radio ads to the play just as the bus was slowing down to the station. And while the ad was playing over the bus speakers, pre-installed aroma diffusers would release a smell of coffee throughout the bus. This instantly created a brand recognition and connection with the Dunkin radio advert and the smell of coffee, reshaping the overall perception of Dunkin to being more coffee orientated. Now this taps into a powerful piece of famous psychology. I'm pretty sure everyone should have heard of Ivan Pavlov's experiment with dogs, but in really rushed, dumbed down version of the experiment, he repeatedly rang a bell while he fed a dog. The dog would then create a relation between the bell and its food where no logical connection previously existed, creating a reflex response for the dog when it hears the bell. Dunkin used this exact methodology, basically training commuters to expect coffee when reaching a bus stop, and also creating a connection between Dunkin and coffee while they were at it. It's also been proven that the smell of coffee has a similar craving effect to when a cigarette smoker smells cigarette smoke. So in essence, this single advertisement trains the target market to associate coffee with Dunkin Donuts, associate coffee with getting off a bus, while also triggering cravings for these commuters. When these commuters left the bus, they were primed through this psychological marketing to be a sympathetic mind frame to purchase coffee. So what was the results of this campaign? It ran over a 7-month period, but the impact was felt within the first few weeks. First of all, this went viral in South Korea with the news reporting on this phenomenon, because it's a strange thing getting a coffee smell on the bus. Commuters reacted positively to the smell, remarking how delightful it was and how it was a real shake-up to their daily commute. Foot traffic increased by 16% in stores and sales surged by 29%. This campaign can only be described as a resounding success and generated literal millions for Dunkin inside a relatively new market. Now, as marketers, what can we learn from this campaign? The key foundation of this campaign was the understanding of their market and their target customers. They truly understood the core drivers and habits of the commuters of Seoul, aligning their brand and business with the local culture rather than trying to generate demand from nothing for a product that doesn't suit the market. Psychology is another massive learning from this campaign. A lot of my friends get sick of me saying this, but 70% of all marketing is psychology. It's about understanding why people tick and their pains and desires. By utilising powerful psychological principles, Dunkin managed to create a fresh brand perception in a matter of months, where other companies have spent millions over several years to gain the same effect. Whether you consider this as ethical is another matter. It's a very big sort of contentious argument in regards to this campaign. But what you can't argue with is the fact Dunkin combined marketing and psychology to create an extremely powerful response. Finally, the key component of this campaign we should all take away, and I absolutely hate this term, but there's no other way of describing it, is the power of thinking outside the box. Multi-sensory marketing was very niche and wasn't really done before this on a massive scale. If the marketing team behind Dunkin hadn't thought outside the box, Dunkin would have probably failed in the South Korean market instead of gaining a strong foothold. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and if you have any questions on this presentation, please feel free to comment below. I'll reply to all of them. Thank you.